a natural crab and an already cooked crab?
This will be a natural, still crawling crab.
Okay, I just wanted to know if we were going to sprinkle a little Old Bay on it, that's all.
Oh, we could do that afterwards.
Okay, afterwards we can do Old Bay on our crab.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're back. Here I am, Fly Navarro with Fly Zone Fishing. I'm trying to remember his name again, but it's Alex from Shot Collar Outdoors.
Yes, sir.
We took a little bit of a break and I had to remember it again.
All right, we're going to be making the granddaddy of all crab flies. The
granddaddy of them all.
It's the original one, the one that started it all. It's called a Murkin or a Del Brown permit fly.
Okay.
And let's do it.
Let's rock on.
So we're going to start again. Always nice, good base of thread, but we're going to stop after a few wraps. What we're going to do is build a little ball of thread here, come back, build another little ball of thread. And we're going to take our brass eyes, set it right in between those two balls of thread. And we're going to do some wraps around it. It's very important when you're wrapping the eyes that you go around the eye and the hook shank. You don't want to just do figure eights over the eyes because you're not doing anything but wasting thread. Make sure they're nice and straight, and then I come around the outside again, making sure to wrap around the brass eyes and the hook shank. And then lastly, give it a couple wraps to lock it all together. Move the thread down. And while we're working on the back of the hook, you can use super glue, a liquid super glue that'll go through the thread, or just a drop of
nail polish.
Nail polish.
My sister's nail polish, if I remember correctly.
Nail polish, or your mother's, or your girlfriend's, or maybe your brother's. I don't know.
Hey man, I never wanted anybody to find out about my brother. Sorry, Mike.
No offense, Mike. So now we're going to take our marabou. This will be the back end of the crab. Well, actually the front. This is kind of like the mouth of the crab.
Okay.
I'm just going to take a few wraps. Wrapping towards the bend of the hook. We'll snip the marabou. You know, it's very important with this pattern that you keep everything nice and level. So I like to wrap back and then get a few wraps forward to try and level it out. We're going to take one short piece of gold flash, and I'm just going to do one piece down both sides. Super simple.
Why only one?
Just I never liked this pattern particularly. Personal preference, really.
Okay.
Never liked it with a whole bunch of flash sticking out the side. Some people love it. Some people do, you know, a pencil-sized clump of flash right there. Bring it back up top. All right, now we're ready to start adding body pieces after I clip that. This is the yarn, cut about 9 inches off and cut it into 3 pieces. Gives you a lot of room to work with when you're trimming it later on. You're going to wrap this the same way that you wrap the eyes, doing turns over both ways, both sides. And I like to do 2. Make sure my marabou's out of there. And then I pull it back, 1, 2 to lock it in, and then I alternate. And I'll do a light tan or light brown, and I'll do the same way. And if it's bundled up, you can just kind of shake it like that. Because you've only done 2 wraps, it's still kind of loose. So when you get your 2, you can kind of snug it down, wrap twice, and now that's nice and locked in place. If you're getting good wraps on the fly and you're making sure everything's secure as you go along, you can almost avoid using epoxy at the end.
Okay.
I still like to, because people hit docks, they hit boats. Occasionally they hit guides and captains.
We're a dime a dozen, man.
I'd like to think I'm kind of a shiny dime, though.
You know, I was always told I could be replaced.
Yeah.
But you, not so much. You're full of information today.
At least today I've got a little bit of job security.
Yeah, well, you're definitely worth a quarter a dozen.
That's very kind of you.
It's my pleasure. That's what I do.
And I have no real number I like to try and get on. If I can probably get two rows, one more row, two more pieces of yarn on. 2, I'm going to give it a little twist. And the last one here.
You mean that's the crab fly? Just like that?
Just like that. We'll trim it up. You can trim it into a round shape, an oval shape.
Can I call it the tarantula?
Your show, man.
Okay.
We can rename it whatever you'd like.
I don't know. It looks kind of like a brown recluse or a tarantula. But if it's a crab, I'm not changing the fishing world.
That's done. So all we're going to do is come forward. And this one, we'll add a little weed guard.
Whoa.
So I have my piece of 40-pound monofilament. Like I said, 40 or 50 is really good if you're using a soft type mono, and if you're using like a hard mono that a lot of guys typically use for their leaders, you can go down to even 15s light enough in some brands because it's just that stiff. You can see it's got the little bend. And I will go right forward here. You can kind of get a couple loose wraps, adjust it as you need. And now that the front's wrapped really good, I'll kind of bend it there again. And I'll come with a couple behind it to keep it standing up. Now the way I trim them, I do it before I finish the fly. Is I come right back, lay it back to the point, and then right above where it meets the point, I clip. Some guys want them a little shorter. I like it if it's going to get stuff on it, at least that's above the point.
Okay.
So if you pull them through the water, you have a chance of anything coming off that was stuck on it. And again, we'll whip finish. Now you have a lot of open exposed thread here. So on the top side here, I do like to use a little of the hard as nails and just kind of dab it down the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then my normal amount there.
When you're done with that, I got to take it back to my sister. Just so you know, she just sent me a text.
Did she?
Yeah.
All right. So now comes trimming. You can trim these round. You can actually take a quarter, which I did for years, and I trimmed them perfectly round the size of a quarter. What I've taken to doing, once I actually got a really good view of how crabs were floating in the water, you know, when they fall, they kind of go at an angle.
Yeah.
So I realized if I cut these at an angle going forward, and then I can come back and just cut there. Now as that's going through the water, it's got the right kind of shape that'll go down like that. And now all we have to do is add the legs. So for the legs, I like to turn it this way. We'll do 3. You can tie legs in as you're tying the yarn in, or the much easier way that I've recently found, just to glue them on afterwards. When you got to tie 30 of these,
It takes a while.
You want to find little shortcuts. So I'll pinch that down. I'll take the loon, I'll go right to the back.
That's the ultraviolet stuff, correct?
Right. That's sticking to everything. I'll go right there. I hope y'all can see that.
We're trying to zoom in.
And holding it in place. not quite dry yet.
Oh, you're doing good. Check that out. Should I put my safety goggles on?
Oh, you remember to bring them?
Whack.
There we go.
That's right. Safety goggles.
We'll do
Guys,
that
it's all about
2
safety.
more times. Try to get a real good view over this time. Like to take the bodkin, push it down, get a little of that UV over top to lock it in. Now this particular crab we've got on a size 1 here, which is a favorite of mine for redfish. And depending on the permit fisherman you ask, this crab is either entirely way too big or it's way too small. It changes from guy to guy you talk to. Some of them want tiny little hooks that you would use for bonefish, and some of them want a you know, a weird 2/0 bass, you know, hook for theirs. There's really no right or wrong with it.
Now, why are you using the UV glue on this instead of something else?
So, with like a super glue, you can get away with this. Sometimes that is a little rough on the rubber, and you'll kind of see it disintegrated a little. Usually not with good quality legs like this, but just if you get junky, cheap rubber bands kind ones. The other reason is like this UV thick does not soak in too much and go through the yarn, like a liquid might. Sometimes I do, you know, I'll use that on the back if I don't add legs. I typically like legs on these because it's movement and fish key in on that. So now what I'll do, you can leave them long, or I'll come in here and trim them to about there.
And that's the final product.
And that's it. And then, you know, like I was saying with the rabbit fly, you can tie them a little bigger, and if you're on the boat and you're like, you know what, I really wish that was a little smaller, you can just come in there with scissors, pull the legs back, clip it to the size you want, and you're good to go.
Perfect.
It's always easier to take material away from a fly
Than add it.
and it's completely impossible to add it when you're on the water.
Well, you got it.
So,
all right, guys.
and that's a Murkin crab fly, and that would be like a size I would throw for really hard mudding redfish that are tail up in the shallow mud flats.
That's a nice one. Well, there you have it, guys. Crab fly. Thanks for joining us in the Fly Zone.